certainly enjoying my new workshop. It's such a cozy place to putter on things that even my chores are enjoyable. I've got an old elm tree that needs to be taken down, and a few other widowmakers that I better tend to before they drop on my noggin. I've procrastinated long enough, so I better get to it. Nothing like a good pulp hook when you're working in the woods like this. Sure makes the job easier. Frankie likes to work in the woods with me, all right, but I think the definition of the word is still up for debate.
Yeah, just take a little break here, and then I've got a couple other widowmakers I got to take down. I have some maples that have snapped off on the top, and they're all hung up in other trees, so I'll go take care of them. All right, it's a beautiful morning. Geese are flying. I just love doing this kind of stuff. And over here I've got this maple that busted off, and it got tangled up in those trees there. Yeah, she's hinged pretty good there and tangled up over in there, so yeah, I'll just get it notched and get the back cut done a little bit and then just pull it over with the come along. Oh, it's a beautiful day. It's been really cold lately. It hasn't felt like spring at all. It's been ice on the beaver pond every morning. We're supposed to warm up for a nice weekend, so and enjoy some cabin time. A little wood cutting this morning, get a few trees down, and I'm going to enjoy myself this evening. Here she comes. Yeah, that ought to do it. Much safer that way. I don't want to be behind it pushing on it and be a pain anyway. That treetop was hung right up in that other tree. So the come along is a handy item to have, especially a good one like this, you know. Here's another widowmaker here, man. A very dangerous situation going on up there, because that's just sitting there, and as soon as this tree starts tipping, it's going to come crashing down. I don't want that to even start to tip when I'm cutting it, so I'm just going to cut the notch, work the back cut a little bit, and pull it over with the come along. I don't like Frankie milling around out here with that like that. And I have another old punky popple tree that's leaning, and Frankie just likes to go under it for some reason, you know, and I hate that. So I get this stuff taken care of this morning. I took the notch out and did the back cut a little ways. I don't want that to start tipping at all on me. Folks are always asking me about must-have items for the homesteading lifestyle. Since I'm working with a few this morning, let's take a closer look at them. These are some things I don't want to live without. Now, a good come-along is a must-have for this type of lifestyle. And I emphasize when I say a good one. You spend cheap, you get cheap equipment. This one does not come cheap by any means, but it's all heavy-duty equipment. It's never going to fail me. This has been just a great item to have. I highly recommend it. Now, a good pulp hook, just a work saver. It doesn't look like it would be, but it's just so much easier to reach right in, like you have a bunch of firewood in the back of a truck, just to plunge right in and pull it off. This morning where I have the treetop that was all hung up and tangled up, just to reach in with this and pull it out is so much easier than doing it by hand. This gives you a little bit more reach as well, so you don't have to bend over as far. Ever since I started using a good pulp hook, I don't want to go in the woods without it.
This is a quality one here. It's got the replaceable carbide tip. I highly recommend it when you're investing in tools. Spend the extra money and get a good one. Having a piece of equipment fail you in the woods, it's just a waste of time and a waste of money. I highly suggest wrapping some fluorescent duct tape on them. It's very easy to walk away and leave these in the woods. They blend right in, but ever since I did this, I don't leave them behind. Now, whenever I'm working with something in my videos that I really like, whether it's a Dutch oven or a tool or some sort of a gadget, people always write and ask where they can find one. So from now on, when I'm working with something that I recommend, I'll put a link in the description where you can find it. So I just set this up in the yard here just to show you an example of how I normally run my cable. Here's a short length of cable. Goes around the object I'm pulling out with the slide hook. That's hooked to the pulley on the come-along. As you can see, the cable comes out of the come-along, through the pulley, back to itself. I get maximum strength this way. Here's my come-along. Now I have a cable here, and I just wrapped the cable around the tree a couple of times and came back to itself. I do it this way sometimes just to adjust my length. I can go around and hook to itself and have like 6 feet of cable out, but if I'm in a tight situation, I can do it this way. Having a chain on each end works just as well. I prefer to work with the cable, much easier to carry around. Now when I'm working with my come-along and I stretch the cable out, this is the end of the cable here, it's not very often that I'll hook this to the item that I'm trying to pull out. Instead, I will loop it right back to itself, hook that there, and hook this to what I'm trying to pull out. You'll double your strength this way, because if you're working with a come-along, especially a cheap one, and you have this end of the cable hooked to something big, like a truck buried in a mud hole, and you push your come-along beyond its limits, chances are the money you saved by going cheap just might cost you your life.
I woke up around 4:30 this morning. The barred owls were going at it somewhere near the cabin. And I woke up from a dream. The dream I was having, I was at my other cabin, my New Hampshire cabin. I don't remember anything significant about it. I don't know what I was doing. But I remember when I woke up, dreaming about the other cabin, I kind of got a chuckle about it because I'm at one cabin and dreaming about the other. Could be worse, I guess. Could be dreaming about work. You know, I quit working back in '04, but still every now and then I have dreams where I'm still working with the guy I used to work with. Yeah, probably gonna haunt me from the rest of my days. Oh, that morning sun feels good. This is supposed to be the nicest day of the year so far. Nice and bright, it's warm. Yeah. No time like cabin time.
Time to do a little patchwork on the cabin road. All the corduroy sections have held up well, so I'll fix these mud holes in the same fashion. It's amazing how well this works.
Buggy up, I'm going around the saw. Good boy.
Well, with a few logs across the mud holes, a bit of sand over the top, and we'll be good as new. Well, yes, sir.
What are you doing? What are you doing, mister? Oh, Jazz, boy. Come on, you're getting me all mud. What are you doing? What are you doing? Come on, lay down. Lay down.
Good boy. I thoroughly enjoy working in the woods. Always have. It's not really work to me, you know? I enjoy the physical labor. I like to get things accomplished.
You know, a few years ago, you saw me laying logs in the mud holes, and I had a lot of mud holes. I put in the logs, I covered them over with sand. I haven't had to do any maintenance to it since. The road's held up really good. It's just amazing how well that works. So I got a couple mud holes here. This is places that I didn't put the corduroy in. So I'm going to lay in a few logs, and just within a few hours time, it's going to go from where I was sinking over my shoes. I'll be able to drive my Jeep right across it with no problem at all. And a little over time, I'll just keep adding some sand over it, and as I can afford to, I'll be putting in the gravel. Yeah.
It's nice to work with a good dog. He enjoys it. He has a lot of fun out here. He likes it. And it's a joy to work with him. You wouldn't catch me out here with an undisciplined pet. Something, dog running around like an idiot. I'd be yelling at him half the day. That's not very fun. Always be worrying about him when I'm running the saw. But he's been working with me his whole life. He knows the routine. Yeah.
It's comical too, you know. I'll be gathering wood. He'll see what I'm doing. Then he'll mimic me. Start pulling branches out of the woods. It's a lot of fun. He's a lot of fun to work with. Sees me getting firewood and he'll be out there helping me. He's got quite the following, he does. He's quite the character.
Give me a beer.
Good boy, hand me the beer, come on.
Good boy. Good boy.
Oh, that's a good boy. Now that's a good dog.